Joining us now is Professor Harvey J. Kaye. He is the author of so many books, I could not possibly mention them all. I'm reading his British Historians book right now, which is brilliant. British Marxist Historians, which is brilliant. He's also the author of The Four Freedoms. And what's the name of
Thomas Paine and the Promise of America?
Thomas Paine and the Promise of America. Get on the mic, though, sir.
Sorry.
Harvey Kaye, returning champion. Thank you for being here. And another returning champion, Daniel Bessner. He's the author of Hans Speyer. Cuck. No, I'm just kidding. He's the author of Hans Speyer and the Defense of Democracy.
Rise of the Defense Intellectuals.
The Rise of the Defense Intellectuals. And he's also the Pyle Professor at the University of Washington, where he piles it on.
Piles it on, teach the youth.
Yes, yeah. Sorry. All right, I'm going to go back.
He just got tenure.
Well, congratulations. Is my board up?
Thank you.
Say, baby, put down that pipe and get
Wait, Daniel. This was done specifically for your obnoxious humor. So can you both of you put on your headphones and listen to my congratulations sound effect? Congratulations on tenure, Daniel.
Say, baby, put down that pipe and get my pipe up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Bill O'Reilly welcomes you to the Academy.
Great
sir.
Man. Yeah.
No, but congratulations. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah,
I want to
thanks.
actually, both of you, because I think that if I had, if I wasn't dyslexic and I didn't have all sorts of, financial and emotional issues in my 20s, I might have, and also, frankly, I was, less rebellious. There were some positive traits here, too. But one only...
Are you saying we weren't rebellious?
No, you guys were fucking reading like nerds. No, I'm just kidding. Of course you were.
That's
I actually think, like, when I think of parallel, like, other things I could do, it's not that many. So one, it's like the evil version. I think I would be great at crisis communications. I think I would be like an excellent, like, sort of Tony Blair-like figure jetting around the world defending dictatorships. I think I would do very well at that. And I also could potentially see a type of law. And the only other thing that I could plausibly see would be some type of historian. So I like an enormous amount of admiration and almost wistfulness about historians. So I'm really curious, could you guys both just respectively tell us how you became historians, what the path was? We'll start with Professor Kaye.
And it's appropriate that we're in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Because I may have mentioned this to you before. My grandparents lived on Eastern Parkway here in Brooklyn.
Right.
And this actually connects to Thomas Paine and history.
Perfect.
Okay.
Go.
So my grandfather, my grandmother, my father's side lived on Eastern Parkway right opposite the Brooklyn Museum. I was maybe 9, 10 years old. That would have been 49, late 50s. And I used to love going across to the Brooklyn Museum. Yep. And I think I can't remember if I told you this. There was an unwrapped mummy.
You told me this story, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry, yeah, no,
Tell all
right.
of them.
Yeah, and the Brooklyn Museum, everyone said, oh, did you really like art as a kid? No, it was the fact that they had this Egyptology collection that included an unwrapped mummy. And imagine you're 9 years old. I mean, you could just go and just stand there the entire time wondering about it. So anyhow, when I couldn't get over to the museum, if nobody was around to take me, I would wander my grandparents' apartment as if it was, a museum or gallery. And my grandfather was a trial lawyer in Manhattan, but he would keep his personal books at home. And in the back of the dining room, which, as I tell everyone, I can see it distinctly, he had these books, history and politics and that kind of thing. And when I sat down on the floor, I was at this shelf, which is all Thomas Paine books, one of which actually was a book that argued that Thomas Paine was the real author of the Declaration of Independence, which was, of course, bullshit. But that's okay. It was in a book, and I believed it. So,
right.
Yeah, we were nerds, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
it
anyhow,
almost sounds like a little bit early, almost like est training or postmodernism, because it didn't matter if it was true.
Right.
The action of
please
that
don't
truth.
Consider me a postmodern. Never. Don't.
No. This is
his
like
generation, not mine.
This is good.
But
this
generation.
You might have done est, though.
Yeah.
Come on, that was trendy in the '70s. Don't
that
lie.
That sounds like a California thing. So forget that.
No,
okay?
well, it was a California
the Dodgers
thing.
Went
right. The Dodgers went to L.A., so fuck est.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
So
Got
I discovered Thomas Paine in my grandfather's apartment, and somehow I think it all flowed from that, as well as the fact that he used to read to me as an even smaller boy from Old Testament Bible stories and wove them we wove them together with stories of growing up on the Lower East Side in Manhattan, and a whole question of persecution and exodus and rebellion. So I'm convinced my grandfather implanted not only a sort of interest in the past, but also a sense that history was about struggle.
What is the name of tonight's show? Speaking of which.
What is that?
What did we entitle tonight's
Winning
show?
the Future with History.
There you go.
Very good.
See?
Yeah.
See how that works?
Right. How'd you get into
Fucking
it?
brain trust here.
How did I get into it? Well, I think there's two major ways, and the first one kind of makes me look like a loser, but in terms of radical honesty, a girl broke up with me in high school, and I retreated into like trying to be smart, and I read a ton of history of the Nazis. So I read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, and I really found it, it's a real thick book. I found it really compelling, and that really sparked, I was trying to be, get over my heartbreak by being smarter than everyone. Kind of pathetic. But the second one was that after college, I worked a job, a retail job, at a company called Steve and Barry's, which is...
I know Steve and Barry's. One of my best friend's sons was working there.
What is Stephen Barry's?
It was
Okay,
I
could
feel
get
like
into
I know
it.
what it is, but what does it do?
It was a
closed?
retail company. Yeah, it was closed. It was a
Okay,
retail
yeah.
company that sold like very cheap clothing, but they would basically they expanded too quickly and basically collapsed after the 2008 crisis.
Actually, if I could just intervene.
Yes, please. Yes.
So Stephen Barry had a philosophy.
Yes.
They only hired Ivy League graduates.
Yes.
Oh my god!
I was about to. Yeah. So
That is so obnoxious.
The scheme was.
It was a pyramid scheme.
It was a scheme. It was a.
Oh, this is great.
It was a scheme. So what they did was they would hire Ivy League graduates who with no experience. So you had a company being run by a bunch of 23-year-olds who didn't know anything, getting paid $35,000 a year. That very successfully ran the company into the ground within 2 or 3 years, effectively. But I had worked there for about 6 months, and I realized I didn't want to work a 9 to 5.
Right.
And so academia was one of the ways to escape the type of capitalist economy. And I mean, I did enjoy history, of course. But I didn't want to.
You never met Colin Lockhart, did you?
I did. He was the head of HR, I think.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Could be. It could be.
I think I. Yeah,
Don't
I knew.
get
He's
him.
my friend's son. I mean, he
Don't
got
get him
burned
started
like
on
everyone
Colin
else.
Lockhart. We should not. Go
Yeah,
It's
there.
just so funny.
Yeah,
I
that
never
would be
thought I'd hear
dead.
ever again about Stephen Barry.
Yeah. Well.
You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.